we're gonna do a Divine Feminine reading. I've been called to do one for a while now, and I've been reading quite a bit today, and I've been on topic, so we're gonna continue and see what shows up for the Divine Feminine. As always, if any parts of this reading don't align for you, take only what you need and leave the rest. Tarot for me is about empowering others through the tarot cards, and that means using your own intuition in order to read with me, right? So it's not just me reading to you, it is you discerning whether or not the tarot message is for you. So we have 3 cards off the bat. We have the Ten of Swords, which is movement. It's very quick movement. It's also the seeking to move, so seeking the right path is what is coming through for the Divine Feminine right now, seeking the right path. And that's what I keep hearing. So I think it's less about the right path and more about the movement itself is what it's showing. So taking that first step is the most important at this point. It's the energy of taking that first step where the universe is meeting the Divine Feminine saying, okay, you've taken the first step, and now, let me show you the next step. So it's not about the right path or the right, placement. It's about taking the first step. And that's where we are. So this is the timeless reading. So whenever this reading shows up for you, if it feels aligned, it's meant for you. We have the Seven of Wands. So Wands has to do with creativity. It has to do with the sacral chakra and passion. So you're really being guided, Divine Feminine, to follow your passions at this time. And not only that, to really follow your intuition. So you may be having a lot of synchronicities. You may be hearing a lot of messages. If you listen to different tarot readers, you may be hearing the same thing over and over again. Just know that if that's true, then, write down the message and sit with it, or leave it for a little bit and kind of let it guide you on your path, because there's a reason you are consistently seeing the same messages. And it may come in the form of certain birds, certain words, certain images, things like that. You may hear people say certain things and it's something that you heard before. So pay attention. That's how you strengthen your intuition, is by paying attention, right? You also are getting this strong emphasis right now, Divine Feminine, around family life and cultivating your family life. So it's also around cultivating the strength in your family life, so a good base, because if you are going to move, if you are moving forward, if you're doing something different, you need that support system around you. And that support system can be people who are blood related, it can be people who are not blood related, right? So it's going to look different for everybody, and it's really a call to strengthen those relationships which support you most, particularly around those you would consider family. And some of you may also be getting some movement specifically around children and or your children. So you see the 2 children right there in the corner. That I'm hearing as the children are growing, so their needs are changing. How much they need you is changing. So this would be true if you have children who are going, school age, who are school age and learning at this point, and maybe they weren't before. So that's going to cause a shift, a drastic shift in your life. And then we have the Fool and the Wheel. So the Fool is like that youthful energy. It's wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to know more. But it's also the energy of stepping off the cliff without looking, right? So it's that childlike energy where you're maybe not necessarily following your intuition. What you're following is your dream and your passion, and like kind of getting caught up in the idea. And it's less about the idea and more about the reality. So that's what the caution is with this. So when you are moving into the next stage, don't get so caught up, Divine Feminine, in the idea of the thing until you've solidified the reality, right? Until you understand where you're actually moving. Because what happens a lot for people, they have a big dream, right? And they're like, this is the dream, I'm gonna do it this way, and this is how it's gonna happen. That's not how it works. So you have to take feasible steps that you can do in your reality to get yourself to achieving that dream. Everyday steps, right? And that's, again, going to look different for everyone, but you are, when you have the Wheel, that's achievement, that's completion. And I think it's very much the caution of getting taken away with the dream before the reality has set in. So that's where you're at. So again, we're circling back to that insistence upon the same way that family is supporting you and you're laying the groundwork for a strong family. It's very much laying a groundwork for a strong leaping off point to your dreams and your goals. You need the foundation. This entire reading is about the foundation and building the foundation. So my advice in the way this is coming in is to take the dream and write out step by step how you would achieve that in your reality. And if you don't have a solid idea of how to do that, whatever the dream is, talk to people around you or follow people who have already achieved the dream that you want to achieve, and mimic, right? Mimic what they are doing because they've seen success. And the easiest thing for you to do with that is say, oh, their path is already built. You know, mine's going to look a little bit different, but there is a baseline, you know, for how it looks to achieve success in what I'm doing, right? So, for example, so tarot reading. You know, I didn't know much about tarot reading, and I looked at those around me who were already tarot readers who were doing these things, and I just took notes on all these different people, what they were doing, how they were reading it, and I took information from everywhere, and I made it work for me, okay, in my own life. And that's what you can do. You can take information from everywhere, study and learn, and then apply it to your own situation and your unique abilities, okay? So that's what's really showing up, Divine Feminine, is, again, the leaping. When you're prepared, when you're studying, it's this act of studying, it's the act of learning, you know, and if you don't know, find out. You have the world at your fingertips, right? So you have a phone. We have more information available to us than we've ever had before. And so study. You know, if it's something that you want to learn, say you want to be an artist and you don't know the first thing about art, you really love oil painting or whatever, there's thousands of videos on YouTube about oil painting or painting in general, and you can start from the very basic and you can move up. I learned knitting on, well, not knitting, I learned crocheting on YouTube, and now I can do like 3 different types of, you know, stitches. And so it's all there. You don't need to get a higher education anymore because the education is online and it's accessible to you. So that's what it is. Setting and planning a goal, Divine Feminine, and really studying it at this time and laying your groundwork and making a plan and making sure you have the support system in place to project you forward. There's also something coming in around romance. So the Two of Cups tends to be the card around romance besides the Lovers. This is the other one. So Cups is emotions. Cups has to do with specifically, in the way that I find, external emotions. So that's emotions attached to an external relationship. So it is showing up for you, Divine Feminine, that romantic side, but the main focus for you is your goals and your dreams right now. And there may be someone who, as far as this is showing up, aligns with that interest for you. So someone who has similar interest, someone who has knowledge that you're learning from, things like that. If you are single and you are seeking a relationship, as you're going on this journey, there's an indication that there's someone coming through who has similar ideas, basically. And growing together. Now, does not necessarily mean long-term relationship for everyone. No. But it's a part of growth. It's a part of learning from another person, right? And for those of you in long-term relationship, as I said, Divine Feminine, we're talking about stabilizing our family. So at the same time you're working towards your dreams and goals, you want to make sure that you are being supported by your partner and your partner is supporting you, right? And that's how you tell, you know, long-term relationship. Does this person truly support me? Do they support me? And you'll know. I mean, this is intuitive, right? So these are all questions that are coming up for the Divine Feminine. These are all topics that are coming up. I'm just going to do one final card pull for you. We'll see if anything else comes up at this point for the Divine Feminine. And I'm getting, don't be afraid to ask questions. So of anything, of your relationship, first of all. There's something around asking questions in your relationship, you know. Clarifying a few things, right? They can't always know what you're thinking, and I think that's very important right now, being very clear in your words, because there's something about people misreading you when you're speaking. You're not speaking in clarity and you're not speaking directly, and if there's any like wishy-washy behavior, you're being misconstrued. So make sure you're not being misconstrued. So if you are speaking directly to someone from your truth and they're taking it a certain way, that's not on you. You've spoken truthfully. If you're not, you know, coming off aggressively or anything like that. If you've spoken truthfully and they take it a certain way, that says more about them than it does actually about you and your truth, right? And that's how you know how to move forward. This is specifically in romantic relationship. And it's going to allow you judgment. Well, this is justice, but judgment and justice often get combined for me, because the energy is you make a judgment and then there's that kind of energy of whether or not you're going forth with that. This is specifically in romantic relationship. And there's also a concern around balancing your family life and your dreams. So that, again, is going to look differently for everyone right now. But the best advice that I can give through this tarot reading is taking things slowly. And again, writing out step by step small things that you can do every day to move yourself towards your goal. It's not a race. It will come to you in your divine time. And putting one foot in front of the other, as we were talking about, specifically with, where was my Fool card? I can't find it. Oh, here, right in front of me. Okay. With the Fool energy, it's imperative that you put one foot in front of the other and not just run ahead, because that is the recipe for success. So thank you, Divine Feminine, for letting me read for you. If you would like your own personal reading, you can check out the links in bio. Again, my name is Lindsey Rose. This is Storyteller Tarot, and I wish you all well.